Hi everybody, I'm Amanda, and you're probably wondering what this is. This is a rebreakable board, and it's used in testings, tournaments, in every kind of martial arts. Now I know what you're thinking, rebreakable board, that's easy, I can break that. But it's actually twice as hard to break than a wooden board. In a wooden board, you can hit anywhere on the board, and as long as you have the power behind it, it breaks. Here you have to hit on the line, you have to have snap, and the darker the board is, the harder it is to break. So this board is the equivalent of a board and a half of a wooden board. Okay? And boards are 12 inches thick, so this is almost 24 inches thick, considered. Okay? On the back, you can see the grooves. This board has driven me completely and totally insane. And I'll tell you why, but first, I'm going to give you a little facts about Taekwondo that'll help you understand my story and why it's so important to me. First off, different colors represent age and thickness. So a white board is for 5 to 6 year olds, and it's 3 inches thick. I literally can push on it with my finger and it breaks. Okay? But to a 5 and 6 year old, it's so hard to break. Usually the holders have to bend it a little bit just so the board breaks for the 5 or 6 year old and they don't cry the rest of the day. The thickest board is a black board. It's 3 boards thick, and it is the equivalent of the strongest bone in a person's body. So if you can break a blackboard, then you can break that bone in a person's body. I think it's this bone here. This board is the equivalent of somebody's skull. So if you can break this board, you can break somebody's skull. I can break a blackboard with a jump spin sidekick. So that's an example of that there. Another thing that you need to know in order to understand my story is when you're a certain rank, back in my day when I was in Taekwondo, they changed a lot of the rules. But back in my day, you didn't break boards until you were a red belt. And they usually had board breaking clinics and things like that to help you out, to help you understand what was required of you before you got to testing. And a red belt had to break 2 boards. One with a hand technique, which was usually a palm heel, a hammer fist, or an elbow smash. And they had to do a foot technique, which was a front kick that goes like this, a side kick is like this, and a round kick is like that. Okay? Round kicks are the hardest to break. Hammer fists are the easiest to break with, but if you don't have aim, you will end up hurting yourself, which is actually what happened to me. Senior red is similar, but you have to do a side kick or a round kick. Front kicks are too easy. And then the higher rank you get, the more boards you have to break. For some strange reason, they have first degree level 3 and 4 black belts break with 3 boards. They had to break 3 different separate boards. They changed that now. Now 3rd degrees have to break 3 boards, and the higher degree you have, the more boards you have to break. So 4th degree breaks 4, 5th degree breaks 5, and that's how it works. So my story. First off, you should know that the story, it taught me a lot of stuff about perseverance, inner strength, because when breaking a board, if in your mind you think you can't do it, then you will not break that board, no matter how strong you are. But if you believe in your head that you can break that board, and you do the right technique, and you have the right amount of power, then the board will break. I'm tiny. I've always been tiny. This story happened when I was 14 years old, so I was a lot tinier than I am now, which is saying something. And I hated board breaking with a passion. It was always the part of testing that I regretted. Sparring, I'd get gold medals, I'd beat everybody up. Forms, I would practice and practice until my form was artistic and it looked perfect, and I would always get gold in that too. Board breaking was my nightmare. My hand is tiny, so my feet, breaking with my foot, wasn't as difficult for me because I could use that power, and I usually did a side kick. It's the easiest to break if you have a lot of power. But my fist, as you can see, my hand is really tiny, and so breaking with my hand just scared me. So my 1st degree level 3 black belt testing, I had to break 3 boards, and it was this one because I was 14 years old. When you're 13 years old and you're a girl, you break a green board. But when I was 14, I had to break a blue one, and so it scared me because it was a different color. I knew it was the equivalent of a skull, so that scared me too, and I had this tiny hand. So a week before testing, we had a board breaking clinic, and I go up to my board, and I decided to do a hammer fist. Now instead of hitting the board like this, I hit it like this, and I broke my wrist instantly. Of course, I didn't realize that my wrist was broken, and you get 3 tries to break a board. So 2 more times I hit my hand against this board. It was obviously broken, I didn't go to the doctor because I wanted to test so badly. I'd already paid for it. Back then, for black belt testings were about $150. So my parents had put the money into it. They were angry with me that I'd broken my hand. I'd been dumb enough to do that, and I was angry with myself. And I really wanted to prove that I could pass this testing, that I could do it. It was a big milestone in my career as a black belt and as in Taekwondo. Also, I was a teacher, so I needed to show that I could do well. So I went to testing, I sparred with one hand, I did my form with one hand, and I broke with my left hand, not my right. Now I'm better with my left hand, and I passed and I got my belt. So that's my story. It was really important to me, and I was excited to share it.